This meeting has been. Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are very welcome back. We are on the build to ABS Series 12. I am joined now by our two main event athletes. My name is Iron Ian, host of the Iron Mindset podcast, and I have the pleasure of presenting you the main event of ABS Series 12. I am joined now by Jesse Moran, who has been on a roller coaster ride training here in Ireland and across in the States and has been smashing some absolutely huge numbers, particularly on that deadlift squats. Looking good. Jesse, how are you, man? Thank you so much for joining me today.
That's the story, Ian. No problem. Happy to be here.
It's great to have you, man. As I mentioned there, we've been keeping close eye on your Instagram account. I know you're probably playing some of the cards close to the chest, but I must say training looks like it's been going really well. You recently posted some massive squat numbers there as well, man. So I assume in your own words, training has been going well for you. You're happy with how things are looking coming into April 1st.
Oh, yeah, training has been flying. Yeah, everything has been like down to a T. Everything I planned to do has just been going flawlessly. Uh, every number I've set every week is just like flew up. Not flew up every week, but I've hit everything. I haven't missed a lift, and I don't even know how long. And the way my training is projected to go in the end, I'm going to hit everything that I actually want to actually hit for the first time, maybe in 2 or 3 years, since I've done 900 kilo for 4 years ago. Maybe that was the first big number I wanted to do, and actually planned to do it and done it. So the number I have in my head, I'm not going to say what it is, but like I'm on track to hit what I want to hit. What
Love
we
it,
say?
man. I love that you're keeping the cards close to the chest because it builds that anticipation for us, even as the audience. I'm going to be up commentating with British Strength Magazine, and we're highly excited to see you two go head to head. As I mentioned, you're having a phenomenal training block, but not to be understated here. We're also joined by Luke Tolman, a former Pro-Am champion as well, and second in the most recent ABS Pro. Luke, thank you so much for joining. I know you have also been flying in the training lately, and I believe you are coming up slightly heavier, even stronger, even more capable than the last time we saw you in August.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Training's going well. Eating a lot more than last prep. Last prep, I was in a deficit for a majority of it, so training wasn't really going as I wanted it to. But yeah, mate, this time I'm fucking flying. Like, just feel really good. Same as Jesse. Like every time I go into the gym, the numbers I've set out are flying up. A majority of what I'm doing right now is a PB as well. So yeah, I'm in a really good spot right now.
Great to hear, especially as I mentioned, this is going to be a co-main event for this AB series. We've got the Clash of the Titans that's going to be decided on total, but you guys are representing the formula decided division with the Pro-Am, and there is a host of other great lifters in it, but being honest, all eyes are on you guys. You guys are leading the pack as the two strongest and most highly anticipated lifters coming into it. So my big question, I'm going to put it to Jesse first, and then I'll give Luke a chance to answer it as well. The last time we saw you about in action was at the ABS Pro, which was last August. For anyone that remembers, August was extremely hot. I'm sure you both remember the lick of those flames on the platform, and the heat of the day took a lot out of everybody. But you both had honestly amazing performances. I know from where I was sitting watching you both coming down to those final pulls, amazing atmosphere. But the big question is, now that you don't have to contend with the limiting factors of having to walk out your squats with the 20 kilo power bar, you don't have to pull a deadlift on the stiff bar. We're going to give you that monolift. We're going to give you that deadlift bar. What can we expect to see? We don't have to name numbers because I know you guys have game plans, but I'm sure you'll both agree. I'm sure you're both going to be in agreement that we're going to see a whole new Jesse Moore and a whole new Luke Tolman. So Jesse, I put the question to you first. Will we see an even bigger and better Jesse Moore coming into this meet than we saw in August?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I'm going to PB on every lift, and when it comes down to, like, this the pro against the series competitions about like different specialty bars. I don't think it's because like the pro is harder because it's walked out. It's like what you're used to doing. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm-hmm.
more used to the deadlift bar. I'm more used to a monolift. I don't train walking out my squat. I don't train with a stiff bar. So it was like when you have to do that for a prep out of like fucking out of the blue after 4 or 5 years, it's just like it's a whole different ball game altogether. So yeah, going back to the original question, I just wanted to address that part there. Sorry.
For sure, for sure.
Going back to the original question, it's just, yeah, what I'm used to doing with a deadlift bar and a monolift and a squat bar is just like Gonna be a whole lot more than 9:35 at my best anyway. The last time I done it,
Amazing.
That's all I can say. To say the least.
That, like, honestly, like, this is exactly what we want to hear as spectators, as the audience, as fans of the sport. As somebody who follows both of you on Instagram and sees the effort you're putting in, this makes me very excited. So, Luke, I turn it across to you. Same question is, will we see a bigger, stronger, more capable and more unleashed Luke Tolman now that, again, you're going to have that monolift there, you're going to have the deadlift bar there? Is this going to facilitate a much, much bigger total from you?
Yeah, 100%. My best total with the specialty bars was at the BPU British, total 925. And that was 2 years ago. So I'm ready to set PBs. I'm confident I'm going to PB in every single lift. It's my last junior meet as well. So I want another all-time world record bench. So anywhere from 257 to 260. And I want the all-time British record squat and total as well for the juniors. So yeah, that's my goal. That's my goal.
Outstanding. And it's great to hear you're both coming in confident, you're both coming in ready for this. And it is essentially going to be a big head-to-head battle. I'd love to see what we saw at the Pro, where it's coming down to that final pull, because that was some fantastic moments. And I will say, again, when we get into these competitions, there can be a lot of that smack talk. There can be a lot of shit talk. I think you guys maybe have like a nice uneasy respect for each other's abilities, because you're both phenomenal lifters. I don't think anyone can take anything away from your ability to demonstrate these things on the platform. Jesse, I know you're a man that has backed up his words time and time again as one of the top lifters in the country. And you are a big fan of calling some of the other lifters dossers. I know you recently made a comment about how, you know, some of the parts of powerlifting and bodybuilding, it's gone a bit soft. We've lost some of the integrity of the sport, and I think you'll agree with me though. I think Luke is somebody else like yourself who does embody that more hardcore and more capable ability to be a phenomenal powerlifter. He's not one of these dossers, or is he?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say he's a dosser at all. There is a lot of there's a lot of dossers in powerlifting, but I do respect Luke as a lifter. Yeah. He seems like a good fella. I wouldn't put him in the dosser category. Yeah, like I put
wet
that post.
Everyone's soft. They're all wet wipes.
Like I put in that post, when I put in that post the other day, it's just people are in powerlifting now for the wrong reasons. It's a game of dress up now. Everybody wants to wear the SBD singlet, all the different matching colors. It's always a big game of dress up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Putting the cart before the horse. You're fucking in a pair of Nike Romaleos and SVD belt. You can't even squat 100 kilos. Like,
yeah, that isn't that the old Louis Simmons quote? Don't have $200 squat shoes and a 2-cent squat, something like that.
Yeah. No,
true.
That's what I now define as a dosser, proper dosser. Yeah.
And then turning it over to you then, Luke, like, again, you are somebody, you're very dialed in and focused on your own training. I don't really see you make too many comments about other lifters. I actually know you're good mates with a lot of the other lads that had lifted previously at the Abs Pro. So, and I know Jesse's a good group of his mates that train over here as well. I know there's a good contingent of camaraderie on both sides there. But I suppose in the same vein, you probably do recognize Jesse is probably the best powerlifter in this country, pound for pound. No?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can't deny that. He's ranked #1 on open powerlifting for his country. You can't argue that, can you?
Well, some people might.
Yeah, but it's done in a legitimate federation. It's done to a good standard. You can't argue it. Oh, right. You're talking about Jake. Ireland's strongest coach.
Yeah.
We're on Ireland's strongest coach.
False advertisement.
Well, do you know, actually, recently enough, I had Jake back on my own podcast, The Iron Mindset, and Jesse came up in conversation, and that was one thing I did put to Jake, that he does claim this title, and yet Jesse does have him beaten on Wilks and Dots, and I think, again, it's undeniable. These have been done in competition. Those are the scores used. And honestly, I know a lot of the super heavyweight lads don't really like the Dots formula, but I think it is probably the fairest way to dictate these things when we have all these different weight classes going together. I think you two guys do represent the absolute best of what powerlifting has to offer across Europe, from Ireland and the UK. When we look at what most people are looking for. You're both like aesthetic, you're both muscular, you're both strong. And I think from an audience standpoint, as much as we will enjoy watching the lads go head to head in Clash of the Titans, I think we can resonate more with lifters like yourselves. I know for somebody like me who's in the sport, I obviously lift in, I'm lifting at IPF National soon, shout out to myself, you know, but still I can see what you guys are, yeah, thank you very much. I can see what you guys are capable of, and it does show me that there's this whole other level. And I think most people watching at home will resonate with that fact. Like, you've got two guys super fit and in shape, pulling 350 plus kilos. Like, it's mind-boggling to the average person. And it's, I do think that is an absolute good point that Jesse can contend with Jake on who is the strongest in Ireland. If you're going to say total, sure. But I think you've got him beaten on a good few things there.
Yeah,
but
I
think
just
that's
don't understand like how somebody can be like 60 kilos heavier and expect you to out total them. I don't, and then say you're weaker because you don't. Just doesn't make any sense to me, you know. Somebody
well,
60 kilos heavier, and you're like, oh, I out total you, and you're like, well, you fucking should.
well, let me actually put something to you, because this is a point that came up on the podcast, right? So I'm not sure if you know this, Jesse. I'm a big Jesse Moran fan as a lifter. I was quite pro Jesse Moran on the Abs Pro commentary. I'm a big Luke Tolman fan too. Don't get me wrong. I just mean in terms of like who of our homegrown athletes here. Big Jesse Moran fan, and I did say to no problem at all, man. Like, look, I respect hard work, and you guys are both super hard workers. But one of the things that came up on the podcast was I believe that you will be someone that will total over 1,000 kilos at a much lighter body weight than Jake was at when he did it. And he, again, now, he didn't deny that you could do it, and I'm not trying to put pressure on you to do it, but he doesn't think you'll do it under like 120, 125. Now, so the question I would have to both of you, as two guys that are within that striking distance. Now, I know, Jesus, don't get me wrong, it's a massive gulf to add 65, 75 kilos to a total, but still, do you both see yourself as fellas that could achieve that 1,000 kilo total at a lighter body weight than when Jake Brennan did it?
I can do it. I can do it under 110.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do it at 110 as well in the next couple of years, 100%. I just need to put on some body weight.
Yeah, like
I have no doubt Jesse will do it. I think he could do it under 110 as well.
Like, I walk around about 112 maximum, 113 at a push. So like, I cut 2 or 3 kilos in a night. It's not a big deal, and that's what I'm comfortable weighing. So it's like I'm not walking around at 120 and I cut down to 108 or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm weighing at 112. I'm weighing 113 maximum, and then I cut down to like 109 in a day. Don't have a fucking breakfast and I'm there, you know what I mean? It's not as if like I have to do a big massive cut to get under and my performance is going to be affected. It doesn't work like that. So I'm full sure I can do it. I don't know when, but like in the near foreseeable, shall we say.
It's going to happen.
Oh yeah, of course. 100%.
To be honest, fellas, I am loving the confidence from both of you. And then the question I'd ask Luke, right, is do you think you'll do it first or Jesse will do it first?
I think Jesse will do it first, if I'm being completely honest. Not to say, like, I think on dots, I still think we're very close, but I think I've got the upper hand there. But for me to hit 1,000, I just want to focus on getting 950 at under 100 first, tick that off. Then once that's ticked off, I'll probably eat my way up to 110. I'm like 101-ish at the moment. So again, I'll water cut under 100, but I think I've got plenty of room for growth. So get 950 out the way under 100, and then I'll probably eat my way up to 110. It will take a couple years, but I think it's doable 100%. I'm young enough as well. I'm still in the juniors, so yeah, give me 2 or 3 years. I think I'm capable.
Absolutely. I think don't get me wrong, I think you're absolutely both capable. And to swing it back around then to the competition, the last big question I really want to ask is, I know you're both gunning for number 1. All right. So I'm going to ask Jesse first, but then I want to get some thoughts from Luke. And then by all means, if you had words for each other, then go ahead. Right. So you're both gunning for number 1. Jesse, if you're going to beat Luke, is it going to come down to one particular lift, or is it going to come down to the final pull? As in, do you think you'll out squat him? Do you think you'll out deadlift him? What do you think it's going to come down to?
Yeah, like my plan is to out squatting by a substantial amount. Same with the deadlift. Whatever needs to be loaded up on the deadlift, because he's going to bench something dirty. Obviously, like, you know, he's one of the best benchers in the world. So I'm prepared for him to bench God knows what. If I put on 5 kilos on my bench from last competition, I'd be happy enough with that. So bench is just kind of like a total builder for me. You know what I mean? To kind of maintain going into the deadlift, and that's my lift in the deadlift. And like, all respect to Luke, but I think he knows when it comes down to the deadlift that it's there for me in the taking. When it comes down to it, he knows that's my lift, and he knows that I'm not going to fucking let the wind go there. Definitely not. And I'm going to be more better with my attempt selection than I was the last time, because I could have pushed more on that squat at the pro. I done 350.
Absolutely.
There was more there, and I could have had less to pull on the deadlift for the win. So I won't be letting that happen again. And learn.
And then, Luke, how would you reply to that? Do you think Jesse has you then when it comes down to the deadlifts? Or do you think you'll put up enough of a barrier with the bench press? Because let's be honest, you have a phenomenal, like, outrageous bench press.
Yeah, there's truth in what he was saying to an extent. I think it depends on what happens with the subtotal. Because I don't feel like I've ever had the chance to fully display my squat at an ABS meet. I've squatted 345 in competition, but I've not in ABS. I think my best was 335 at the first pro. And obviously in the last one, I dropped 10 kilos body weight, didn't I? So I went down to 327. On my second attempt, I missed on depth, didn't I? So rather than upping by like 15, 20 kilos like I was originally going to do, I think I only upped it 5 kilos. I think I went 322 on my second, missed on depth, knew I was going to have to bury it. So I only went with 327. Again, if I'm a little bit more dialed in, burying my squats, I think I can have a much bigger squat this time. Yeah, it's going to depend on subtotal, but yeah.
Amazing. Right, fellas. If unless you have any closing statements, very last question is, besides each other, is there anyone else in your flight, in the Pro-Am, that you think can even contend for the #1 spot, or is it just the Jesse versus Luke show?
Well, if Josh is able to hold on to a deadlift, he could be forced to be reckoned with, you know what I mean? Like, Josh is strong. He squats to be fucking flying in training. He's a very big squatter in knee sleeves. And like, if he was able to sort that grip out, he could do 410 or 420. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think Josh is next in. Like, wasn't there some Welsh? Is he Welsh? Jay messaged us the other day, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Do you know his name? He looked like a strong guy,
pull up
but
the
his
roster
own
here.
powerlifting, really.
He done like 320 for 5 in sleeves or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, he might come out of nowhere.
And he benches like 170 kilo at 110 though, so it's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. See what happens with that. I don't know.
Yeah, I
do want to say all 3 of my lifts have fucking improved massively since the last competition. Since I've gained weight, my deadlift's fucking flying at the moment. I'm not doing that stupid up down thing. So yeah, I was a shit deadlifter at that last meet. I'm not coming into this meet as a shit deadlifter. I've improved massively. I'll pull something big at this comp.
Amazing. Fellas, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate you both being here. Gang, you are going to see the ABS Series 12 main event Pro-Am big fight between Jesse Moran and Luke Tolman for that title coming April 1st. Stay tuned.